into the feints. One thing that fighters will know if they do the research on you, they know that you are coming out of the peekaboo style. One thing that you'll have to know how to do is feint them until they're open. So feint them out of position one way and then strike them to the opposite side of where you're feinting to. So if you feint here, you can come here up top, you can feint there and you can go to the body and then keep that head movement and you can step around, step back, and then walk them down with the grunt walk. All right, so feint here, come here, boom, to the body, take the step.
Let me get a drink.
And add that grunt walk.
Yeah.
Nice. Time it. Good. 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 See what you're seeing do is execute.
Yeah, it's playing, but
and keeping their head off the line. Good. Beautiful work. Coaches always keep in mind that selling the feint is a job.
Just hand
So
somebody give me
have them
some.
work
I'm about
on
to
those
go
quick twitch drills.
on. Thank you.
Solid stuff. All right, now what will improve that combination is throwing that shot to the head after you come in there. So you're boom, you're feinting here, you're going here, and turning it over there, and creating that second shot, which will create the buzz in the head. And if you take that shot and utilize it the right way, it can be one of the key components and combinations in your arsenal. Let's see what it looks like. And on the way back, we're gonna add it. We're gonna go here, whop, whop, and then back to the lever on the way back. So let's. Yeah. Good. 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 Nice movement. Double that shot up.
Oh man.
Beautiful.
Boom. That, my friend, is what you call a lesson in boxing. The beginning of that lesson just basically lets you know how many years and hours and months and weeks and days that it's going to take to actually nail this thing that you have been working on. And that's what the premise of the show is today, is to show you how to transfer what you're doing into the ring. So let me get a special shout out to you for showing up in the building. Shouts out to you. Now you're live on Master Boxing Page, and I'm your host, Eric A. Bradley, and we will get it in today talking about some boxing. So if you have your questions, make sure you drop them in the comment box. Let's check in and let's see who's in the building right now. Bobby, Aday, what's up, champ? It's good to see you, brother. Salute to you and continued blessings, man. All of you are out here learning one thing: how we do our boxing. And what we're going to show you is kind of like the process and how this thing lands. But what I have to show you, so take 1 second and watch what I put on the screen, because what we're dealing with is also, while we're teaching you, we're also making sure that we slow down this big wave of people trying to learn boxing using tips and stuff. And that's not the way you do it, because what you're learning how to do, when I put this next comment, excuse me, I'm going to put this next comment on the screen. And what that's going to help you understand is what we're dealing with. People are trying to get in competitions literally by coming into the gym, asking people for tips, or going on YouTube and watching tips. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put a comment on the board, and I don't want you to leave here. I want you to actually let me know where you're watching from, because right now I see you live. I'm going to show you one of the comments, and I'm going to read it once I come back on the screen. It comes from YouTube, one of our YouTube followers, and his name is Sylvia. Let me see. I don't want to get it wrong. Warren. And the question And the statement that they made was, I watched, been watching and trained the peekaboo, and now I'm doing so great in it without any lessons now. Look at these guys who've been in the gym with for hours, weeks, months, and years learning how to get a skill set. Let me read it. See, I started learning doing the peekaboo in sparring, and now he's saying that he's learning that you cannot be learning something that people take years to build by attempting it in the gym without a process in place. So hence is why when you see this video of the guys working their butts off to try to figure out how to
Good
master this
stuff.
thing,
Now let's bring that shot down to the body from
without
that
further
feint,
ado,
maximizing the impact of what you're
understanding this
causing
stuff,
on your
it's so
opponent's
much more
damage.
to it than seeing it happen. And what we're trying to do is give you the information, give you the downloads for free. So at the end of this download, just there'll be a link in the description to get the download. If you're watching this late tomorrow or Saturday, don't worry about it. The link will still be there. Take advantage. We don't want to be the problem. We want to solve the problem, because the National Golden Gloves was just last weekend. And the entire week, those guys fight every single day. You come and you get eliminated. The guys who get eliminated on day one are the guys who are not learning boxing. What they're doing is asking people, hey, what do you do with this? Give me a tip on this. I had to shut it down. You might get cold blocked from the page asking something like that. I'm joking. But you're becoming part of the problem. These guys are getting knocked out hard. I use a few knockout clips over this week and the end of last week to show you the difference between the guys who are being groomed the right way. You can't skip class and expect to become a rocket scientist. Okay. You can't escape boxing the lessons. You see, these guys are hearing an instruction, and then they're watching me walk through it. And then at that time, I showed them that demonstration tutorial, and then I showed them the how, when, why not to do it, when to do it, and what'll happen if you do it wrong, and what'll happen in all of these other instances, which isn't something you're getting from tips. We don't have time to put that kind of tip out there because we're too busy teaching. So learn boxing in a manner in which you will understand the hows and the when, and why am I doing this, and when not to do it. If you don't, you'll end up like this. Now, this is my man Jonathan, one of my favorites in the world of combat. He's learning boxing, he's learning he knows Muay Thai. He came down and we had the greatest time, but there was a different level of his learning that he did. And so when you look at this, there are things that people don't realize that you have to do in the gym. Now check this out. Punches about to come from a place that can really hurt your face. So the first thing you got to do is bite down on your mouthpiece when you're in the corner and you're getting prep. You got to bite down, and you got to be serious about it, because he's about to hit you at a close quarter, because you're in a Philly shell. And the next thing, you watch this language. You don't open your mouth for nothing. And when he get ready to walk over there and look at me, look at my stance. What you're watching right there is how to bite down on your mouthpiece. Who's telling you that? There are exercises that you have to do. We show you these in punch pads for pros, because when you start training as a hitter, a puncher, a prize fighter in the professional ranks, people want to hit you in a place that was never meant to be hit, on your face. And they're punching hard, and they've been hitting a 200-pound bag and 200-pound men for 8 weeks in order to take your skull off. That plastic apparel and piece that they give you to put in your mouth Your jaws are not meant to bite down on a mouthpiece. So you have to develop the actual bone tissue and this muscle dexterity in there for your jaws to handle it. And so we show you how to do that. How are you going to go online and download and know that you got to find that? No one's telling you their personal secrets. So that's what you got to learn about being online and learning boxing. No one's going to teach you the solid stuff. So I know this is just some of the stuff that you never think about, and if you did, it's because you're around the right circle of people. But when you see this kind of a wake up call, the Philly shell is what we're doing right here. And when you get inside of the pain in the Philly shell, you got to be able to guard that chin, and that chin must be that right there. It should be over your mustache if you got a mustache. Some of you starting young, you don't have a mustache yet, and you have to learn how to do that. So there's a drill that we do that help you get to that, because that neck muscle is called the scalene muscle and the trapezius. Whenever you're first learning to do it, it's not designed to do that. So what you have to do is get that muscle like that. And so hence is why when you see us do our neck, we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, boom, 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 and side to side. So you learn these type things when you see the training videos. That's what I'm telling you, the preparation for the drills. You guys are just seeing the drills. You're not seeing what we've done to get to the point that we can actually do the drill. And you may get the drill when we are cold. We may not even be warm yet. So it's not all the way nailing it every time. And that's why you have to be careful. There's no doubt that you're going to get clipped. And if you're going to get clipped, make it because the other guy was slippery and slick. Don't make it because you undereducated. So that Philly shell and this first one was the peekaboo. And just so you know, when we're teaching this, it takes a very long time. It does not take 35 seconds like the clip is that goes up on social media. I don't just say, hey, do this, and then they just do it. Special shouts out to Jordan Panthen over in Hawaii, who just won the National Golden Gloves. We will definitely have him on the show. He's just hit me back on a message, and he's a great fighter. I mean, great to watch. His skill set is second to none that I've seen as far as a person who's in the amateurs but fighting like a professional. Very exciting. This young man has learned a lot of things. His story is crazy, awesome. It should be a Netflix special. And you can turn about anybody's story into a Netflix special. But the thing about it is this: you got to realize that when you're special, you're special. But I also have to give a special shout out. A special shout out to Gulfstream. So for all the thousands of you who are watching, Gulfstream Boating Club sponsored these shirts. I got the cap in it as well. And they are absolutely amazing. And that's what you do when you get to this level. You highlight and you utilize your platform for many and major things. And if you are down in South Florida, you understand why we are doing this, because South Florida is the place where it's all about the milk and honey. So special shouts out to Gulf Stream Boating Club in Palm Beach County, man. It's a beautiful place. So special shouts out to those guys. Until next time, you guys. So as I was saying, though, this is what it is. Having you in a place that your knowledge, is catapulted because you're going about it the right way. This young man, Jordan, has done it the right way. He did it the way that makes sense. He had to learn. He had to understand what is important in tournaments like this. When you fighting 5 days, 5 people who are all at different levels. And when you come into that, the people who are not learning the right way are the people that get knocked out in the first round. And if they survive for whatever reason, because they're up against another schmo and they survive the first round and make it to the second round, they get knocked out hard there. And if you're one of those people, double down on it. And special people, it's all about learning it the right way. So we doubled down on it. We had to create content that was set up in lesson forms just so you could really learn it the right way. And that's kind of why we have taken the liberty to go that far to give it to you. So make sure you don't just hover on the page. And we thank you for being here. Even the ones that we blocked because you're making crazy comments on the page, our admins have all of the right to block you. If you're making crazy comments, you can talk, but be wise. It's because it's young kids here. We're also a company. We're not just fanboys of the sport. We are in the sport, and we have a unique brand of teaching, and we want you to learn the right way. But we've catapulted and positioned ourselves to feed you a knowledge and even create downloads that are free so you understand what kind of structure it takes to do this type of education. So I think you can basically always count that during fight weekend, there's a sale. So my advice is to do like I did when I was coming up. When I was in the game early, I would purchase my mitts. I would purchase my body shields, my speed bags, my Panthers. I mean, I'm talking about all of the stuff that you need to as a coach. I would never take a short, but I'd always wait for the sale, because I wanted everything and I wanted the best of everything. And the best of everything is the kind of teachings and even the educational teachings. And even though I was mentored by two of the greatest minds in boxing, I had to do things to increase my muscle memory at home. And then when I got back to the gym for my slip balls, which are one of my favorite toys, using that slip ball and mastering the science, when Oliver McCall would come down to training camp, showing what Custy Amato taught him, it was my natural athleticism, but attention to detail that made me want to catapult what he was showing. And he was showing some sweet stuff. I mean, he was showing exactly what, because he was, just for you guys who don't know, Oliver McCall was Tyson's chief sparring partner during the time when Tyson was absolutely murdering cats. Not only was he that, but he was a world champion who actually knocked out Lennox Lewis. And I mean, he knocked them out unconscious. Oliver McCall was an absolute beat, groomed and trained through Emmanuel Stewart, just continued to shock the world. And this kid was special, and he would come down to our training camp, and he showed his mind was so unique. When you saw him, you didn't think he was a very smart guy, but man, when you start talking that boxing, he would show and demonstrate and boom, boom, and you were just like, holy crap, this dude is the real deal. What's good? What's up, champ? Demetrius Reed in the building. I see you. I see you. Mutafa. I see that. I think I can kind of see that. What's up, you guys? This is my people in the School of Boxing. Kurt Thomas. Yeah, I hope you got your email, your grades, and kind of what you are up to do next. Great work, man. Keep focused. Stay locked in. Can you talk about footwork? Yes, Obama. I could talk about footwork. Obama, I want you to answer this question honestly. Did you get the free footwork download? And this is what, Obama, I need you to type it in the comment box. I need for you to type it. And you can't say it's not visible because it's on every post that we do. So if you are out here looking at YouTube and Facebook and Instagram for little clips, I'm going to crush you guys' skulls with the bare hands with marshmallows in them. No, I'm just kidding, man. But it's just the reality. I have to make sure you're doing it. Muhammad, you got to put it in the comment box. Make sure you put it in the comment box. If you did not do that and you're talking about, hey, can you talk about footwork? Now, I'm going to elaborate on footwork, but you got to see the first part of it. So therefore, and from that point, you get the download. You use it and see what it looks like. It's just like if they gave you a sneak peek into the room of the people who was curing COVID, and they said, you can take a look. Now you have to learn further. And then when you got recipes, you can really operate better. So when Oliver used to come in, I used to want to be, now I'm naturally athletic and I can fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're either born with that stuff or you're not. You can be taught how to do certain things, but when you see that, that faint, you won't taught that. You had to learn the mechanics of it, the how to do it, when to do it, why do you do it, all of that stuff. But outside of that, when he used to show me, I said, okay, I want to have all of that. So I purchased that thing. I was spending $120 for that ball. Might have been that. I would shoot it, boom, cap my head, slip, and then I started to bend my knees at my hips. I used to squat down in my stance, and I used to get left, I used to get right, and then I used to just accent it, and then I used to boom. And I said I always keep my hands up, because when I would come sideways, if I do over the top with the head pops, pop, pop, under, up, pop, out, go under. I realized this: you can get clipped, boom, in the head. And so I would shorten the string, the chain, even further, so it will swing faster. And that's what I did. And mastering the peekaboo with the science of Customata, along with the science of my mentors, and me being a natural athleticism, someone who's a pugilist and a pure operator. I'm an artist when it comes down to movement. Some of you who don't understand movement, I'm a scientist, so I studied the kinematics of human motion. That's fused through all of our training. And boy, I'm a dancer. So when it comes down to it, all of that fuses. So when you talk about footwork, the mechanics of footwork is first one, tier one. You got to walk through the basics and learn stuff like the box step. And once you start learning it, Muhammad, you start to get it to a point where you can do it. And then get it to a point where you can do it right. And then you get it to a point and you do it by tier three until you cannot do it wrong. No matter what, you're crazy, knocked unconscious, it does not matter. You cannot miss a step. You cannot get lost inside of the boxing ring, because now you've understood that it takes muscle memory, and that word is not just a phrase. And we suggest that you take the liberty to see what this
So
all
the
looks like.
key is Roy Jones used this combination effectively, and so did Mike Tyson. So let's see what it looks like when you bring it back down, feint up here, feint up top, snap the picture, back down here, back down there, and when you tilt that head, take that feather rib and make it yours.
This is clips from the Peekaboo Punch Performance program. For those of you who are fans of Canelo's and El Terrible, Eric Morales, these guys had what we call fading punches and throwaway shots. And I learned that from tip my cap off to Coach Tyrone Soul from Baltimore, who is an absolute boxing mind, much older than me, much wiser when it comes down to the sport of boxing. He's been in the game for over 55, 60 years. This dude is brilliant mind and boxing. And he showed me how he would, when we went to spar with him, a guy heavyweight, when they heavyweight, and their heavyweight threw a jab over his shoulder, and he kept throwing, and I kept wondering how's he hitting him. And this is when your eyes are virgin. You don't understand certain things. So he said, we throw it over your shoulder and then turn it over and come by and catch you with a hook to the jaw or temple or eye socket. And I was like, so the throwaway punch is meant to be thrown away on purpose. So, Muhammad, I'm going to get to your footwork. The footwork is that in indeed. You don't know nothing about boxing. None of you know anything about boxing. You only think you do. But when we open up our library to you, and our library is a Bible of boxing. So if you don't know the entire Bible, you definitely don't know this boxing Bible, because it's an entirely different language, and it's in a complete library and dictionary of words you never heard, words you've never used, and I don't care what gym you come from. This is an entire savage package. And so that's what happens when you go up here and you get a download, you start to learn. But the guys go further and step up into the school of boxing, like my man Kurt Thomas here. And it's the place of higher learning. You're going to learn more, please. And so take that into consideration when you're learning. That is where we bring the bar. And I think guys like Oliver McCall, who took those punches from Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was at his absolute hottest, 86, 87, 88. No one wanted to be in the ring. They had an ambulance parked out back every day when Tyson sparred. True story. Because he was sending people to the hospital. Literally, they couldn't keep enough fighters lined up for this dude to walk through. And Oliver McCall was the only person that had the savage mentality and ability to rock with this dude in Mike Tyson. And oh my gosh. So therefore, that was why it was such a tough task. This dude was an absolute monster. And when you look at Mike Tyson, and no one wants that smoke, man. No one wants that smoke. Mike Tyson was an absolute killer in the ring. So if you want to take advice, my advice is learn what a lesson looks like. Get the free one so you can learn and then take your game to the next level and move up. Graduate from your learning method. Don't just stay in that same place. Take it in, learn how to learn, and then take it to the next level with a complete download. Every week, they're on sale at least once. That once is starting today through the weekend. Always remember that they're on sale during the fight and big fight weekends and on hump day, which is Wednesday, because I know how I approach the game. I approached it clinically. I approached it with a plan. I used to sit back and wait for the sales. I didn't know exactly when they was going to do them. And I stacked up all of my material. And then I had everything. And one day I'm going to put a picture up on my library, my boxing library, my videotapes, and then the all of the equipment that I stacked up over the years just because I wanted to be the best. And now I'm educating more people than most of the coaches in the entire world. And in order to get to that level, you have to do it the right way. You can't skip it and you can't fake it because you can get your whole car pulled real easy. So I hope that was good for you. Make sure if you got questions. For those of you who are watching late, I know we normally go out and start at 5:35. We had to do it early because we're heading out of town to get it popping in the further south of South Florida. So until next time, continue blessings. It's never too late to start it doing it right. Keep your eyes open for these guys who are coming up. My man, Jordan Panther, is doing it big, and we will have him on the show next week. If you have any questions, send them in. The next show, we will be doing that great episode that really highlights those who have video out here on social media called Can I Box? And we have some good footage for you guys to help us break down. And at the end, we'll find out if they can box. Until next time, continue blessings. Visit our website to learn more about our store. Get you whatever downloads that works best for you. This weekend, everything's 30% across the board except the bundles. So take advantage of it across the board. Footwork, mid training, sparring, counter punching, heavy bag training, all of these things, 30% off. Until next time, continue blessings. And once again, special shouts out to Gulfstream Boat Club. That's when you know you're doing it on an entirely different level. Peace and hair grease. And P.S., last thing, coaches, if you're in the gym and your guys are sparring, young or old, make sure you have on headgear because USA Boxing will strip your gym of its license. Trust me, I know that's going on. Cut it out, and definitely cut it out posting it, because you could get totally reported. We're out of here. One.